going down. The Pride Huggin'. Yeah, Manolo, Mr. Doe, Flo Frazier.
Came to find out that Wendy Williams is the first female talk show host to average 1,500 yards receiving in high school.
Witness AP, don't worry, it's all timing. I slid in like a nigga that didn't pay, backdoor style. Shut the club down with a K. You know NC at it again, aiming at your cabbage again. I flow with a magical blend. Step up, get dropped to a tragical end. You know the kush got my lungs about as black as my skin. From Raleigh, NC down to Duluth, Georgia.
But I did save a lot of money on my car insurance. I know some of you think I switched to Geico. I just stopped paying the insurance.
And the cat that been thinking peanuts like Jimmy Carter. Got that lava, game time not a problem. Mr. Clutch and watch me go up when I'm popping.
Lights, action, cameras flashing, girl, you know it's on.
It was all
Maybach, layback stunting, trying to take you home.
It was all a dream.
I like the way it's going down. I like the way it's going down.
It was all a dream.
I like the way it's going down.
Start again.
Yo, welcome to The Slice. I'm your boy HL.
What up? I'm Teron.
And
I'm here.
and that's our boy Aaron right there.
You need no introduction. Y'all know who I am.
All the time.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Y'all giving him $1 in front of Glenwood.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all let me sleep on your couches. Y'all see me in a van at truck stops. Struggle.
Yeah. So Aaron is one of the premier comics up in Raleigh, man. What's your comedy journey been like, man? Where'd you get started doing it, yo?
I started at like 18 in college with Matt White. Y'all know Matt White. Yeah. So I started with him. He had like a comedy troupe, and I did it 3 times and moved to New York. And that shit, I didn't realize you needed money to live there, so I had to come back.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I did it for like a year.
Yeah.
Just like, but I didn't realize like how hard it was. Like I didn't realize that this is hard. Like, I didn't realize the amount of work it took to do it. And I didn't realize you had to work to make money. And I didn't realize you had to make money to live in New York. So it was a triangle of bullshit that I had put myself in that just did not work out.
So when did you know? Oh shit, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
What made you? What was your?
The cool thing was like the couple times I got up in New York, it went great. But I didn't realize I didn't realize the amount of work ethic that went into it. So then I just stopped for like 12 years or 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, and then I started back up when I was like 28.
Alright.
Yeah, I had a shitty job and a girlfriend who was just treating me bad.
So you just decided, hey.
A friend hit me up out of nowhere. She was like, I just watched a stand-up comic last night. He sucked. You should start doing it again. And I was like, all right, word. And then I started doing it again and quit my job. Like, yo, just chase these dreams. And my girlfriend kicked me out of the house, and I had to move back in with my parents. But I had too much ego to live with them, so I just stayed in the garage. Like I was like, I refused to move back into the house, so it was just me living in the garage.
So you was like home adjacent.
Yeah. They're like, you still kind of live here. I was like, I refuse to believe this.
You're not accepting it.
I refuse to accept the fact. So I was just living in my truck in my parents' yard, still trying to be independent. I'm an idiot.
Oh, y'all don't even know where we at. We are right now at Benny's Pizzeria in Raleigh.
Downtown.
Make sure you come get you a slice.
No
You can see they fat, boy, just like me.
No doubt. It's 121 Fayetteville Street.
Oh, like a fish.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing like a fish I just caught from the river.
That's the pizza that Jesus used to feed 3,000 people.
No doubt.
Was just a taste. They weren't ready for how good it was going to be.
Man.
The Jerusalemites.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the comedy scene like around here in Raleigh?
I feel like they just built a new Good Nights Comedy Club. I feel like that's going to bring it back in. I feel like for a while there it was like in a temporary spot. There weren't a lot of mics and stuff going on. I feel like that. I feel like it became like people without a country. You know what I mean? I feel like it became like a bunch of people without anywhere to really like settle down. So I feel like Now with like an epicenter, I feel like it'll become like something.
So do you think that this whole shutdown and move that Good Nights did, seemingly this legacy is probably being the go-to spot in comedy in the Triangle?
Wait, say that again?
I don't forgot what I said.
Do you think this new Good Nights is gonna be?
He's like, you don't understand how much it took to get that out of me the first time.
Man, you know, like, come on, bro.
He's like, how much did you do that? All y'all's questions, like, say that again. You're like, I don't even
I don't remember how I worded that.
Like, is the new Good Nights? Will the new Good Nights be the spot to go to?
Yeah.
This is gonna be the spot.
Yeah. And I think it'll be the spot, like,
Forever.
yeah.
Nobody's gonna knock the Good Nights out that number one
But the thing
spot.
is, like, well, Good Nights has always been kind of where it resonated out of. Like, improv came in, and that's like a thing. But like, Good Nights has been where it started, kind of around here. So it's like having that again, and having that feeling, and then having gatekeepers and stuff coming from there. I think it'll like resonate back outward. You know what I mean? Because like for a while there, like what it looked like the scene was just like, you know when countries get like taken over but then ignored, so it's just like a bunch of different regimes and warlords and stuff kind of come in to start taking. That's what it felt like for a while. It's like nobody's really in control. Yeah, and there's no structure. Nobody's in control of this shit. So I feel like having that place again to do stuff and get stuff off the ground will be like, it'll take back over. It's like being the spot.
One word I hear over and over again in comedy is gatekeeping.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the gatekeeping going on in the Triangle right now?
I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and they brought up a good point. Without, like they said, they liked gatekeepers because that's what, you know where the gate is.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, like, all right, I got to impress this one person, or I gotta interview for this one person. Like, without somebody like holding that gate or holding that foundation together, it's like you just kind of firing off into the distance.
Anybody can just run in.
Yeah. Or it's that, and it just becomes chaos. So if you got like 3 gatekeepers, it's better than having nobody, because it's like.
But we're at the point now where we have 15 gatekeepers, and half of them ain't good.
I mean, but in order to be a gatekeeper, you got to be gatekeeping what people want. Ain't none of these people in charge of what anybody wants.
They want to be gatekeepers.
Yeah.
They got want to be gatekeepers.
They got chain link fences.
So all you want to be gatekeepers.
They got gates.
They chain link fence gatekeep. You know what I mean?
They got little barn doors.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's like what? All right, so if I suck up to you, like, let's just say, all right, so I kiss your ass, what am I getting? They're like, you're gonna get me in front of 9 people in a pizzeria. It's like, motherfucker, that ain't a gate. That's not a gate.
That's not a gate.
That's not a gate.
What is that?
Yeah, that's
that is a travesty. That's what that is.
That thing don't even lock. Things got rust all over it.
You gotta put WD-40 on the gate.
Yeah, dude, but stop it from squeaking. This is awful.
Oh, rusty ass doorknob.
Yeah, people are making up gates. But it's not a gate.
It's like, okay, you gotta like use a string. You ever had a ghetto rig gate? The tile, like you gotta like put a little chain on it,
put a nail
and put a nail on the other one, and wrap it around. That's what you got.
You gotta get a new zip tie every day.
But like
Zip tie,
but I just noticed there's
zip tie.
so many of them out there just gatekeeping bullshit.
But that's not a gatekeeper.
Nah.
You know what I mean? A gatekeeper is like somebody that's like, if you go through me, you get booked at Good Nights.
Yeah,
If you go through me, you get booked at the Improv. That's a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Somebody like that runs 3 shows at bowling alleys and damn.
And talk shit in the Triangle Comedy group. Love the group.
Triangle Comedy.
It's not a gatekeeper though.
Yeah.
No. So
In order to be a gatekeeper, you gotta be like, you gotta have something people want.
So with all the comics, and there are so many comics in the Triangle right now, do you think that is better for the scene or worse for the scene with how many comics there are right now?
How many are there?
394,000.
No.
258.
Everybody in North Carolina does North Carolina. You don't even know it yet.
Yeah, everybody, like even dude right there making pieces, half comic.
They got dreams.
Yeah, he has hope.
They got dreams and soul glow.
It's a bunch of, because like at the open mics,
Not so good.
it's at least.
But like for example, like what we saying, you go to an open mic.
It's at least 20. You know what I'm saying? 20 to 30 people at open mic.
Yeah,
And then
least.
we did 40 or 39 or 40 at the first, what is it called?
first 50 first jokes.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. I saw that picture.
Well, I mean, I've been to an open mic.
It was
I've
40.
literally been to an open mic at Good Nights. Been to one of the improv. There was over 50, 60 people. It just signing up to go on.
But how many of that is like people like?
Trying for the first time.
Yeah, how many people? How many
Yes.
people? How many people for that is it skydiving? You know what I mean? I just want to get this out of my system. And how many people are like actually trying to do it?
Exactly, and that's the thing. So if you go to an open mic of that caliber, like of a stage that caliber, like Good Night's caliber stage,
Yeah.
improv caliber stage, I think there should be gatekeeping in that mic. Like there should be two different types of mics. There should be one for beginners that you do like in the back room somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you have
Preferably not at all.
But the main room should be
Preferably long.
reserved for like comics that they've seen battle tested.
That's the way Good Nights used to be.
That's how it used to be.
Good Nights, but that's how, here's the thing. This is. I've talked to a few people about this. You have to have a mic with stakes. This mic is not a mic. This isn't a I'm going up and ripping shit out of my ass. This mic is how you get booked at the club. This is an audition mic.
Yeah.
So when mics aren't auditions to get into the club, the scene has no form or function because everybody's at the same level. People will see like, all right, he's a veteran because he's been in it longer than me, but people don't see it as like he's better than me because the club said he was better than me.
Yeah.
So then you got everybody kind of on this even playing field. So it's like somebody that's been doing it for a year thinks that they're killing it just as much as somebody doing it for 8-9 years who's been working at the clubs and so on. It's like, no, you need the club decides that.
And that's not just about brand.
Gatekeeping things that are important to people decide that. You know what I mean?
And I can't lie, that's the one thing I miss the most about Brandy Brown. When Brandy
That's
Brown
exactly
was at
right.
Good Nights, like at least you had something to strive for.
That's exactly right.
But now it's not even a meritocracy no more. If you work at Good Nights, then basically you're going to be the ones that gatekeep Good Nights.
Yeah, but but that's what keeps the whole scene in line. Like that's what keeps because if the guy that's been doing it for 6 months is getting on the same bar show as a guy that's been doing it for 10 years, he's gonna get an overinflated type of ego or a sense of self or anything. But when someone at that club is like, he's in, you're not. Now you realize I need to work harder. I need to try harder. I need to write more. I have a specific person or a specific group of individuals that I'm playing for to get into that club. And if I don't meet their standards, and another thing is too with Brandy, we respected her standards. The people that got in, you're like, yeah, the gatekeepers need to have. The gatekeepers need to have a trustable amount of being able to see who can come in and who can't.
Yeah.
And then that creates the pecking order. And that pecking order is important because without that pecking order, you don't know how to climb.
Right.
Like without giving a boxer's record, you don't know. I need to beat that guy to be better than him.
Yeah.
You know, like comedy's not about who's better than who, but it is kind of.
I think for me, comedy is about being good.
Yeah.
It isn't necessarily like you have to be better than a certain person. You just have to be good.
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest problem that I run across is that there are just people who just aren't good. And I'm not even saying good ever. They're just not good yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, they want to. They want to run stuff. So what happens is these people who aren't good yet go out and they find a venue, and they host a show, and they put all their people that are also not good yet on their show, and then that creates another show.
Or they don't
and
initially. What they do is initially they stack it with the guys who are past at the club.
Yeah.
And then the next show is the next tier of guys past at the club, and then by the third or fourth show, they're putting people on just to like
fill the show.
Just because we've already booked him for like the 2 months ago. These same people have already seen him. Let's put up people, and it's like you're putting up people that they can't get in. You're ruining your show, and that's why a lot of places.
It's not just ruining the show; they're ruining the scene because of it. Because
you're ruining the spot. Do you know how many spots won't fuck with like stand-up comedy anymore because of how people have ruined shows?
Well, think about the scene. When you're like, hey, come to a local comedy show. They're like, fuck no. You know why? Because they done been to so many shitty ass shows. Throwing by shitty ass comedy.
I went to Dingy Doo's bowling alley, and so the last show they had, and it was bad. And they're like, no, I'm not going back.
But I will say this, and I go to enough open mics so I can say this, the talent base the base talent level of the scene now is the highest I've ever seen. As far as just the base talent.
I agree with that.
Because there are some, I'm like, wow, there are a lot of good comics. People that have potential to be great. People that, as long as they keep working, they're going to be monsters. And I haven't seen it because, like, honestly, that was the gap between our class and these classes now. Like for example, you were already, you know, that
I was maybe like a year ahead of y'all.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much.
And then we started, and then there was like a dead stop as far as new comics for about 2 years, 3 years. And now we have more new comics coming out, and some of these cats is really good.
They're hungry.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, which is weird considering like, maybe that's like goes against what we're saying about the pecking order or whatever. I don't think you necessarily have to have a pecking order, but I think I don't know, from listening to other people's podcasts of people that are way better than me, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
7 or 8 show up and they're just good together. And then there's a lull for a while, and then there's 7, 8 more that show up that's like, this is potential. This is a potential thing.
Yeah.
But
so he and I, we talk all the time, and I've told him several times that him and you, I would say probably like my top 2 comics, you know, in the area when it comes to just what we're doing here.
yeah,
I enjoy watching y'all on stage, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Aaron. I
So,
ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. So for both of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like who do y'all like? I won't say get excited about, you know what I'm saying? But when they go on stage, like you're paying attention.
I gotta hear you. Number one, you the one I get excited about. I gotta hear what you're gonna come with.
Appreciate it.
JD.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta hear what JD gonna
sure.
say, because JD gonna say something good. Mello and Mark Brady.
The biggest thing is like people that come in and you don't
always work.
You know that they thought something that week that they got to get out because they're in front of a good crowd.
Comics
You
that
know,
write.
you know, yeah. You know, there's people that's like, you know that they either packed enough in that last week of life that they're gonna bring that to the stage, and you're just gonna get to like, almost get to meet them again. Like, all right, let's see what this last week held for you. You know, anybody that does anything like that is fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Well, I tell you, and that's what
But I don't like people that hold on. Like, there's a lot of people that like, they'll do material week after week after week that's not working, or they're a lot of people, and this is the thing I've thought about before too, is like my least favorite people. This will go into like who I really enjoy watching. My least favorite people to watch are like the people who want to use comedy to be a thing they're not. You know what I mean?
Go deeper with that.
Well, like you got edgelords, you got like cool guys, you got guys who you got a lot of people that are like, this looks like an avenue with which I can use to become something I'm not in the real world. Which the real thing is like let comedy or let what you're doing tell you who you are. All right, the reason that joke worked is because it's you. The reason the things you're saying worked is because that's you. So it's like, take what they're giving back to you as honesty.
Yeah.
And then figure out how to be more on. And I'm not saying that you got to be on stage like I'm in therapy and my dad hit me. You ain't got to do that shit like that. That's weird. But like what I'm saying is like, if you're up there trying to be cool and you're not cool, they're gonna hold. They're gonna hold. That's exactly right. They're gonna hold back as much as you're holding back. So when the people who go up there and are themselves and are their minds and are their comedic abilities, those are the fun people that there are to watch.
So that is deep. That's very profound, Aaron.
Yeah,
And it makes sense.
that's well watch it.
It makes sense.
Well,
Watch this because you see a lot of people that you go out there and they'll do their 5 minutes or something like that, and it won't work. And really, it all goes back to that's not you.
Yeah.
That's not at all. That's not what you think's funny. That's what you. Because a lot of people, because you start this by watching heroes, right? Mm-hmm. You watch your heroes, and a lot of people want to be their hero. It's like you're not him.
Yeah, you're not that.
What he talks about, what he talks about, what he wants to get off his chest, that's not you. And maybe that could be you eventually, but it's not you right now. What you are right now is you're going through a divorce.
Talk about that.
You want to talk about school shootings and 9/11? You're going through a divorce, son. Talk about that shit.
That's what you know.
You know what I mean?
Talk what you know.
Talk because every single one of them talked about what they had going on right there, and then they're like, it's almost like the peripheral vision of what they could find comedically spread out.
Opens up.
But like right now, talk about what you can talk about. Like a lot of the guys who got started and realized that they could do this were talking about, like, they started early and they were talking about dating, or they were talking about the job they had sucked, or they were talking about having herpes, or whatever it is that they were talking about is what was true to them right then. Then they realized, this is how I do it, and then they could broaden that out to a spectrum of like, this is how I feel about the world, this is how I feel about, now this is how I feel about my relationship, this is how I feel about relationships. So it's a broadening of a spectrum. I don't think a lot of people see it like that. I think a lot of people are trying to be somebody that they saw.
And not
It's
who
like
they are.
that's exactly right. It's like that's not who you are.
So let me ask you, when you first started, what were you talking about? You remember your first show?
Like real. First joke, no, but I remember like some of the first set was just me talking about just random shit. Like I remember one of my first jokes was just like, I don't like.
That's about to be crazy. Well,
I'm trying to think of like one of the good ones that ain't just some wild stuff. It was just random stuff. Like I was walking with a girl down the hallway, and she saw the sign beside the door. It was like 403, and she ran her fingers across it and said, "I wish I could read Braille." I was like, "Bitch, you can't. You got eyeballs." It says the same thing the door does. Like, it was just stupid stuff like I was like,
he said, "Bitch, you can't."
"Bitch, you can't."
He put the Jesus hands out.
Or just like a woman who had to run this. It was just dumb stuff. Like I met a lady that had to she had to turn the sink on when she peed in public bathrooms, like so she could pee because it helped her relax. And I was like, "You got to run the vacuum cleaner when you suck dick." It was so like stupid, but it
That's
worked.
why you are who you are.
But
right
it
now.
worked, dude. It worked so bad.
That was a good one. Yeah. Run the vacuum cleaner. That's fucking great.
It just helps me relax. This Hoover vacuum running in the corner, and he's like, I can't even go hard because that's not what I'm into. So stupid.
Oh man, what about you? Do you remember your first bit?
Yeah, the one that did nice.
Yeah, but do you remember what it was? Remember your first joke that you told us? What was your first joke that you remember telling?
Of course, I opened up with the Cut the Music DJ. I think I did. I think when I gonna be here long, I told my girlfriend I was going to the store.
Okay, that's when that started.
Yeah, that's when I
That was open mic.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me tell you the funny thing about
There's
it.
a truth to that. Like, is that the truth? No. But there's a truth to like.
I told my girl I was gonna
So
be back.
like the truth of that is what I'm going back to what I was saying earlier. The truth of that is like in relationships you probably are like a little bit of a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Just a little bit.
you just like, but what I'm saying is the truth. It doesn't like what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be the truth.
It has to be.
But it needs to be rooted in you. Like when people look at you on stage, they're like, yeah, that's the type of guy that will lie to a woman.
Yeah.
To
Definitely.
relate.
And honestly, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, you.
Definitely. He definitely gives off the type of guy.
Yeah,
And I'm not
yes.
saying you are the type of guy,
Okay, no,
but you
I-
definitely come across as the
But-
type of dude that
But
hurt some feelings.
why
with folks.
why you held that and why it worked was because they saw that and they were like, I believe that guy would do that. And so they tell you kind of, not even who you are, but the audience will tell you how they perceive you, and that's powerful.
But that is so true because I never even put two and two together about how authentically a person is to how they come across, how they get over on stage.
Yes, yeah.
Because like legit, the people that I dislike the most as far as comics are the ones who are not them.
They're lying.
You
It's
know
a
it.
lie.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as any relationship. When you're talking to somebody and you know that they're lying to you, you get a little bit like,
Yeah.
And then they're not good enough to be able to cover it up. You know what I'm saying?
Or-
Because
or-
it didn't work, and actually because they didn't really work on, they didn't put the work in on the material. Because it could be
Yes.
something that they never experienced, but if they worked on it, they could still find a way to get it off.
yeah.
I remember.
To make it a little more believable.
And you can also work the opposite of that. Like I saw a guy in Wilmington recently. He's just a goofy looking dude, and he's like, he was just talking about like he's like, you know, I'm just a pussy motherfucker, and everybody knew he was bullshit. Like everybody knew.
It was sarcastic.
Like it was the opposite. So it's
Yeah.
like not only you're playing to you, but you're playing an opposite.
Yeah.
To that. So what made that funny is everybody's like, that's funny that he knows he's not.
Yeah.
But he's also playing the opposite. It was I had to look.
Yeah. So I think my first time seeing you, I want to say you was hosting. I think you were hosting an open mic.
Yeah, maybe.
A good
For a
night.
couple of years ago, yeah.
And one thing about you, like your energy on stage.
Oh man.
Not the funniest thing was the night that he was hosting upstairs, and there was a guy that went in front of you. You came, the guy that was in front of him, he was a cut dude. He was like, y'all gonna bring me out here after. You just went in on just that whole situation.
Yeah.
Which to me was dope because
That's how I met my ex-girlfriend right now. The girl that I just broke it off with, that's how I met her. That's the only reason I remembered the set you're talking about is because that's how it's shot off. She was there that night. And she was like, I gotta have this man. Then she realized slowly, I'm not anything near that.
But yeah, that night was dope.
Like he's way whacker than that.
Now the first night I met Aaron, it was my second night ever doing comedy. It was at the Good Nights Comedy Contest. And I'm talking like, I'm feeling, I was the only person that I knew of that went through to the first round, went through the second round, the first time ever doing comedy.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm kind of feeling myself, right? I was thinking, oh, I got this. I get there, Justin goes up first, right? It was Justin first, then Caroline Smith, then Aaron. By the time Aaron got on stage, I wanted to go the fuck home. I was like, I don't have nothing for these cats. So I go up there and I do my shit, and it went over really well. You know, that was when I debuted. The first time I wrote it, tried it, was my 80s Babies joke, right? And the Mrs. Spencer shit. That was that night. The first time I ever tried, and the shit went off. I was like, oh, great.
Good. We're doing all right.
But so then I get on stage, and Aaron's like, dude, there's no fucking way it's your second time ever doing comedy. And he said this shit like he's gonna whoop my ass. And I was like, yeah, it's only my second time. He was like, dude, you gotta keep going.
Yo, I was like, you have to keep going. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was like, bro. I was like, bro, you have to keep going.
And that's what made me keep going.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing about you two. Like y'all styles are completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, with being true to yourselves, you know what I'm saying? Like it definitely come out.
I wish, I tell you like this, if there was anything I could get, like be like Aaron, I wish I could create energy out of nowhere like he does. You could be in a dead room. Nobody's giving a fuck about comedy. Everybody's trying to set up some pussy for later. That's about all that's really going on. And then no one's giving a shit. Like everybody done bombed. It's a dead ass room. Here comes Aaron. And you think you were at fucking Good Nights on a packed night. Out of nowhere.
As soon as you grab the mic, a lot of times before you even say anything, and of course, most of the times that I see you here is people that know you.
Yeah.
But as soon as you grab the mic, even before you start talking, there's already giggling.
Like there's always
giggling
yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that.
You gotta know how to tell them, hey. Like you just be like, what's up? And they're like, yo, what the fuck is this person?
If comedy was Boy Meets World, you'd be Sean.
With the hair.
You just come up, you're like the Sean. You gotta do this shit. But nah, I'm just saying like that cool ass, don't give a fuck type mentality.
Yeah.
And you know how like everybody loves Sean for some reason?
Yeah.
And for some reason, everybody loves you. Dude.
That's an esoteric ass. That came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that analogy.
Yeah, you're Sean, dude.
You Sean.
Like I
wanted to beat Topanga, man. Come on, bro. Damn, I ain't never gonna beat Topanga, bro.
Hey, at least you're not Corey, bro. At least you're not Corey or Mr. Feeney.
What is it called?
You hear about Mr. Feeney? Did y'all hear about Mr. Feeney?
Nah, what happened?
Him and his wife were in an open relationship the entire marriage. It just came out last night, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Really?
Yeah, I bet he
Yeah,
fucked
she-
way more than
She's
you.
like 92.
She wrote a book. I don't know if he's still living or not. But she,
I think is he dead?
Nah, Mr. Feeney alive. Yeah, Mr. Feeney's still alive.
it's
For real?
Yeah.
But he's
wife wrote a
close.
book.
Oh yeah, he's knocking on.
Yeah,
he's knocking on.
knocking on
Heaven's door. Yeah.
Hey man, he's on borrowed time right now, right?
Dick Van Dyke.
No,
He's still alive.
Dick Van Dyke is still alive. I don't even really know who he is. But
I didn't know anybody that was on black and white TV. Was
Yeah,
still alive.
anybody my grandma liked, I don't expect to still be alive. If the Venn diagram of who I know and who my grandma knows even touches, I expect them to be dead.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it ain't full blown eclipse; they have to be dead.
So if you had a up and coming comic right now that was asking you for advice, what would be the best advice you give to you when you was first starting, or just the next person that was just like, hey,
Give me some pussy. No.
all right, Weinstein.
No, I ain't even on that shit at all. You see a
Man,
lot.
try to fuck me.
Yo,
Me too.
No, you see a lot of guys. You see them guys that like as soon as a new girl shows up, all of them are just like, like they forget to even write jokes. They just up there like doing their best. I want women sets.
Yeah.
They're like, I open doors for ladies. And you're like, man, that ain't you, dude. Stop.
Yeah.
Up and coming comedy. What'd you say again? Up
If
and
you had to
coming
give
comedy.
advice to someone asks you what advice do you have for me?
First of all, there's going to be the only advice I would give is there's going to be some people that have it very, very easy. Like it's going to look from the outside looking in that they have it very easy. That's fine. Like count them out of your stratosphere, because there's going to be some people that like you're trying to swim across the river, they hopping on pebbles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just walking on pebbles across the river. And we know people like that. Like I know I can give you two.
Yeah, you're one of them.
No, hell no! I ain't got booked in no year. Like what I'm saying is like there's certain people that are like they walk across the pebbles to success.
Okay, yeah.
Like they don't have to. They ain't gonna sleep on couches. They're not gonna have to get kicked out of. You know what I mean? They're not gonna go through the strife that a lot of people going through this are. Don't pay attention to them. Just accept them as an anomaly. Because there's only going to be about 4 or 5 of them. Accept them as anomalies and let them walk across those pebble stones. You know what I mean? Not about being funny, because it's like these won't be the funny ones. Sometimes these aren't going to be the funniest. They're just going to be everywhere they go. They're going to meet the person that's going to bring them to the next step. That's the way it is.
We're not saying no names.
Not saying any names, and not taking anything from them. Some of them are funny people.
And some of them ain't.
Some of them ain't. That's not your game to play. That's not the game you're playing. What I would say is, a guy out of Greensboro said something. He didn't even say it to me. He said it to a buddy of mine, and he told me about it. But like, his name's Eric Trundy. He's out of Greensboro. He's like, that first year, just do it for a year. Don't worry about being funny. Don't worry about being good. Don't worry about being liked. Don't worry about anything. That first year, just do it for a year and decide if it's for you. You know what I mean? And then after that, the only advice I would be is like, it's going to be very hard. You're going to have a lot of instances where you don't know what's going on. Don't quit during those times. And allow it to tell you about you more than you try to tell it what you want to be.
Gotcha. That's what's up right there.
Because if you're failing, it's something about what you're trying to either get out of it or what you're trying to tell it you are. Don't do it that way.
So you're a purist, huh?
Maybe.
You're a purist.
Maybe
you're
so.
a Zen ass motherfucker.
No, I mean I do look at it as like anything you do, there has to be a Zen in. If you're gonna be good at anything, there has to be a spiritual nature to it, a work nature to it, and a Zen nature to it.
I'm not even
Everything's
gonna lie,
everything,
though.
man.
I knew this was gonna be a good interview, and I knew you knew some shit.
Yeah.
But like you're wise beyond your years, just so you know that.
Yeah.
Like you're like a fucking comedy Yoda. You know that?
That's the way you gotta look at it. Because that's the way every single other person that's good at a thing looks at what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what like
It's just in the foundation of the journey.
it's in the foundation. Yes, it's like this is Sun Tzu's Art of War. I'm not putting it on there. I'm not trying to get
No, I
like
totally
convoluted.
understand.
What I'm saying is if you look at the greatness of this any different than you look at the greatness of anything else, you're wrong.
Yeah, sort of. It all kind of carries the same.
And if you're a lineman, be a Hall of Fame lineman. The bad thing about comedy and art is there's Hall of Fame linemen that want to be quarterbacks. You're not the fucking quarterback, dude.
You're not.
Be a Hall of Fame lineman. And what I mean it's almost like a double entendre. Are you a one-liner? Be a lineman. You're not going to be able to go do 8-minute stories. You're not a storyteller. Like so, it's like
Stay in your lane.
yes. allow this to tell you, like,
What's your style? What would you describe your style?
experimental. Experiment. Experiment, and whatever works, keep.
I would say yours is kind of like water. Like whatever you just get it,
And it's mostly improv. Like you're busting off the top of your head most of the time.
Wrong.
Really?
Everything's written.
You don't come across like you come across
What
so
I'm saying,
free.
Yeah, almost. I would say if you see me go up,
you've worked on it.
like I'm gonna take the first 2 minutes out. The first 2 minutes is all right. The first 2 minutes is like, how do I pour myself in this room? Because you, and this is like some Bruce Lee shit. Because I watch Bruce Lee a lot. But it's like you were talking about water. But like the thing about water is water fills its container. You pour water in there, it's gonna be different. If you pour water in this, you pour water on that. So it's like, so how is I look at it like, how do I pour myself in this room? I'm the same substance. I'm the same liquid. But how do I pour myself
What's
in
your
this
container
room?
for this room?
What's the container? How do I pour myself in this room? And that's the way. So it's like the first 2 minutes is how do I pour myself in this room? And once I pour myself in the room, now it's just like, what else do I do? And sometimes you can't pour yourself in a room. Sometimes the motherfucker's a cube and you're trying to pour it and it just runs
Just run
off
over the side. Yeah.
Sometimes you can't. I mean, you bomb. Sometimes that's the way it goes.
Well, you don't bomb like that.
No.
Neither one of y'all.
No.
And I'm gonna keep it a band with you. This motherfucker.
What I've noticed is like with bombing a lot of times is like, what I've noticed about bombing for myself and probably you too, it's if I didn't spend enough time trying to get my energy right to do it at all.
I bomb if I beat off the night before the show. Not even lying.
That's weird as fuck.
I know.
I'll beat off 30 minutes before the show. I'll beat off in the bathroom after the show.
I'll tell you, I will bomb if I run one out the day before the night before a show. Oh, it's gonna be a bad show.
Is it serious?
Seriously.
So you just up there full of cum.
Nah, because if I knock something off, it don't kind of beating off, and I still get I bust one, and I'm still good.
Wait, what now? Wait.
If I smash something,
He's good.
I'm good. It's if I rub one out, I'm not. But if I knock a chick off before a show, I'm cool. I still get to bust my nut. And I still have a good show. But
So if I see you crushing, you just freshly non-masturbated.
yeah. If I'm crushed, I definitely need to beat off.
That's weird for me to know now. That's a hard thing. I'm gonna see you open for Carlos Mencia this weekend and be like, that man's got self-control.
That any time that I would fire off some knuckle children, it was a bad day. Every time. I'm not lying. Every time. So it was almost like my own talk to myself. You better stop touching yourself.
No.
Cause I knew
You grew up Christian, didn't you?
Yeah.
That sounds like some guilt-ridden shit. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, I'm dead serious. I fire for another child, bro. I promise you, next day. I mean, it might be some crazy shit. I remember one time I fired for another child and my car got towed. Just because. I was like, and it wasn't even like in a tollways on or nothing. Some random tow truck just came and just towed my shit for no reason at all.
they can smell the cum. They can smell it. Some smells like desperation. We gotta
Smells like
go
jizz around here. Let me get this.
Some smells like autonomy.
Oh man.
So to close it all out, you know what I'm saying? What you got, bro?
For me to close it out, you know how I say. I'm not even gonna say strike first, strike hard, no mercy. I mean, I just did, but I would say be true to yourself, man. Because that's what Aaron got me thinking right now. Be true to yourself.
I'm feeling that shit.
We're doing closing arguments, closing statements. Hey man,
See that right there?
You thinking of song? You know that song.
And people gonna laugh just what you thinking, like, you know.
I'm gonna say, hey, figure out your relationship with masturbation. Does it make you better or worse? And live true to that.
Hey, that's good advice.
Yo, no doubt. Yo, this is us. This is the Slice. HL Teron Rogers, our special guest, Aaron Ransom. We at 121 Fairfield Street in Benny's. Pizza's great. Yo, that's it.
That's it.
Salute.
Stop beating off. Or start. Whichever one makes you greater.
The way it going down. The pride, hugging. Yeah. Yeah. Manolo, Mr. Doe, Flo Frazier, out. Check. I spit it in to get the just no rhyming. Quick to say P, don't worry, it's all timing. I slid in like a nigga that didn't pay, backdoor style. Shut the club down with a K. You know NC at it again, aiming at your cabbage again. I flow with a magical blend. Step up, get dropped to a tragical end. You know the kush got my lungs about as black as my skin. From Raleigh, NC down to Duluth, Georgia.